Good morning. Thank you all for being here. As you can tell, we have no one from the Democratic side of the aisle to attend. But rest assured that House Republicans are here on behalf of the families who rely on Arizona's Developmental Disabilities Program. Today's hearing is not just about financial figures. It is about the families who rely on Arizona's Developmental Disabilities Program. These are families who provide extraordinary care for their loved ones, who navigate complex systems daily, and who deserve stability, not uncertainty. They should never have to fear that the services they depend on will be jeopardized by financial mismanagement. The purpose of the House Ad Hoc Committee on Executive Budget Mismanagement is to review budget year programs administered by executive agencies, analyze the January executive budget proposal, and provide recommendations to the House of Representatives on managing cost overruns and preventing agencies from facing bankruptcy. Last month, the Joint Legislative Budget Committee addressed a crisis in the Department of Safety that would have resulted in kids being forced to sleep in DCS offices. Today, we turn our attention to an even larger crisis, one unfolding in the DD program. This is a highly complex issue. Arizona's DD program is managed by a managed care organization within the Department of Economic Security and operates under Medicaid, meaning the program's authorizing agency is Access. Access sets the rules, DES administers the program, and ultimately, the governor's office controls both agencies. We were informed in January that DES needs $109 million for the DD program and another $14 million for high-cost clients just to make it through June 30th. This ad hoc committee was convened because both House and Senate requested meetings with expert agency staff to discuss this fiscal emergency. Yet we were told that such meetings were unnecessary. This is not just frustrating, it is a continued pattern of disregard for the legislative process. The House is deeply concerned that the DD program is facing a $122 million budget shortfall, roughly 10% over budget, an alarming number in state government. But the problem extends beyond this year. The cost of the DD program is projected to double between fiscal year 23 and fiscal year 26, reaching an estimated $4 billion next year. The governor insists that a supplemental for DD is normal. However, in the past decade, we've only had 4 DD supplementals, averaging $8.3 million each. A $122 million supplemental in a single year is anything but normal. It signals serious mismanagement, and we face even greater fiscal challenges looking ahead. Now, my Democratic colleagues have attempted to dismiss these concerns as just another budget cycle issue, pointing to former Governor Ducey's use of supplementals, which totaled over $3.7 billion during his tenure. What they failed to mention, however, is that most of these supplementals were on responsible fiscal measures, such as the rainy day fund deposit, pension fund contributions, school facilities grants, and wildfire response funding. We did not see mid-year agency shutdown threats or widespread instability as we see now. This legislature has always provided funding for the DD community. Arizona is recognized for having one of the best DD programs in the country, and we are proud to be one of the few states with 0 wait lists for services. Families should never have to worry about whether the system they depend on will remain financially stable. Today, we were here hoping that the directors of Access and DES would provide us answers to, I think, fair questions, such as, why does the agency need such an unprecedented supplemental appropriation? Why have program costs skyrocketed? How did we get here? And what must be done to ensure this never happens again? Unfortunately, 15 minutes before this hearing began, we received a letter from Governor Hobbs saying that she was not going to take part in this hearing. She referred to it as a political circus, among other things. Well, Madam Governor, legislative oversight is not a political circus. It is a constitutional function that this House will discharge. So while you may be hiding your agencies to protect the governor from a rebuke for her policies that resulted in a $122 million shortfall, you will not be able to protect your administration from the oversight of this legislature. It will happen one way or another. But we're going to make good use of our time. We still will hear from the Joint Legislative Budget Committee, a nonpartisan budget office for the legislature, to talk about the timeline of how we got here. And then we will feature former state representative from Idaho, Megan Blanksma, who has navigated a nearly identical crisis in her state. And finally, we will consider legislative findings that we will forward on to the full House as they consider how to respond to the DD crisis. Families who rely on these services deserve answers. Unfortunately, you're not going to get the answers you deserve from this executive branch because they failed to show at the hearing. But more importantly, you deserve solutions, and that is why we are here today.